You know, over this season of Christmas, our theme, Christmas Prime Time, we brought you a number of messages that have really honed in on what special time Christmas is in our lives and to become sensitive to what God's doing in our lives right now. We preached on all these characters in the Christmas story, but, you know, I've got some that I like better than others. You do too.
Yeah.
So I was just thinking, like, why don't we kind of talk about the characters of the Christmas story and our favorites and maybe how they've impacted us. And
I'm kind of partial to the shepherds. Man, I like the shepherds. I don't know. I think there's something so amazing about, again, the unexpectedness of it, right? I mean, just being out on a hill in the middle of nowhere, a bunch of, the nobody shepherds, just a bunch of nobody shepherds. And they get to be the first witnesses to Jesus' birth. They get to preach that first. They get to tell everybody. I just think that's so powerful that no one would have saw that coming. No one would have picked them. They would have been dead last. Like if we were picking sports teams, I mean, they would be the last pick of the bunch. And I just love how God does that. You know, we think sometimes we know God so well and we've kind of got him in this nice box, right? Like we kind of know how God works and it's only in these certain ways. But I mean, I think the better you get to know God, the more you are surprised by how he crafts and brings things together.
I can see how this kind of speaks directly to you because at heart you're sort of a wandering nomad, isolationist on the inside. Of course, life doesn't let us live that way, right?
I identify.
You identify,
Yes.
Yeah. You know, I think the thing that touches me with the shepherds, I feel that same way about them, but one of the things that also connects with me is that these were just ordinary, shepherds living out all by themselves in the countryside. And these were ordinary people. And you know that God chose those guys to be the ones that would hear the news first. They would be the ones that would go verify the story. And then they were the ones that really told everyone else.
Which is funny, right? The least social people
Yeah.
in the entire greater Bethlehem district. The least social people are now charged with going to tell everybody. I think that's funny.
You know, I always run into folks that maybe come to church on Christmas Eve, and, you know, they don't make it very often, you know, and maybe Christmas Eve is one of the few times they come in, and I wonder sometimes if they're feeling like, well, I don't know if I should go. Do I belong? And, you know, maybe I just ought to go home. And I think what the Christmas story tells them is that, yeah, you should be here. You should come in. So,
and I think in our culture, I think that goes even beyond even just at Christmas time, right? Like how many people are intimidated to come to church or feel like they've kind of got to get it all together first, right? We hear that a lot. That somehow you've got to figure it all out before you come, right, into community to hear about Jesus, to hear the word. And the real truth of the situation is this is how you get where you want to be. This is how you find healing and wholeness and transformation is in community, hearing the word of God.
I think another thing about these shepherds were they were ordinary guys. And they may not have been around a lot of big things in their life. You know, big successes, big happenings, big milestones. I mean, every day was sort of like the order. And these guys, when they heard those angels and when they saw this child, and when they put it together on their level, they knew what a big deal was. Mm-hmm. They knew that was a big deal. Because for them to go in the community and tell others, you know, our theme, everyone must know. Everyone must know. I mean, to do that, they really understood this was a big deal. Why did they know that this was such a big deal? I mean, it's like, everybody's watching me. These guys are out there at night. Every angel in heaven showed up that night. I mean, they were shepherds, but they fit. That is a big deal.
Yeah.
Big deal. Yeah. They're cool. Shepherds are cool. Man, they follow through. They got the word out, you know. I think that's a real message for us.